Hey, boys and girls, what's going on? It's the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show, coming at you with another music review excerpt. As this go round, we're going to be talking about Scott Weiland and his new band, The Wildabouts, as they are getting ready to embark on a small tour for the release of their new album titled Blaster, which is going to be coming out in March of this year, late March. That album is going to be dropping. And I know we got a lot of hardcore Scott Weiland fans that's out there. I'm definitely on the very top of that list. Love Scott Weiland tremendously as the 47-year-old former STP frontman, former Velvet Revolver frontman. He's embarking on a new path with another band. We should note this is like the third time that he's trying to give it a go. And I mean, look, let's be for real. You think about 2008's Happy in Galushis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, forgive me in advance. You think about that album, though, it was a very great experimental album as Scott Weiland just came at you with a little bit of funk, a lot of pop. Nothing really was too heavy on that album. I know myself and many people, we kind of walked away from that. And although we gave Scott all the props in the world for pushing the experimental envelope, it really did not compare to 1998's debut album by Weiland, which was titled 12 Bar Blues. That is like to this day, as far as like Scott Weiland solo material goes, that is like simply the best. I don't care what anybody says. He was up there like that with that album, so much so that I think it might have been Rolling Stones. They like had put that on like the top 50 albums for like 1998. It's definitely high up there like that. I think like as far as top 500 albums of like maybe the past 10, 20 years, I think that is on their list as well. So that says a lot about that particular album. So White Lightning is the first single that has been released by Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, fresh off the press. I believe it made its debut like earlier today or maybe like right around the weekend. I'm not really sure, but I had the opportunity to check it out. And I gotta tell you, I love the track. I love the track. Now, look, we all know what's been going on with him and the other members of Stone Temple Pilots as they've got this ongoing legal lawsuit fiasco thing that's going on. I believe we talked about that on YouTube. When you get done with this, you can check out our music news section or whatever. I'm pretty sure we had mentioned it. I know I even did an article about it on our website over at infinityoneproductions.com. So I'm not really going to dive into all that, but I'm mentioning it just to kind of get us all up to speed, especially those of you that might not be aware of what's been going on with Scott Weiland, Stone Temple Pilots, as the former bandmates, they've moved on. They've got Linkin Park's Chester Bennington, and look, they did their thing with the High Rise EP that came out in 2013. Scott Weiland, he's just been taking his time really since about maybe, I want to say late 2011, 2012. He's just been kicking back and he's just been working on his own material. At first, it was going to be another solo album, but once all this legal fiasco stuff started going on with Stone Temple Pilots, he just said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go on ahead and I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to form my own band and we're just going to go from there. So the High Rise EP from Stone Temple Pilots and Chester Bennington came out, and that met a little bit of a lukewarm reception. A lot of people kind of felt as though, hey, Chester's not Scott Weiland. Me personally, I wasn't looking at Chester as trying to replace Scott Weiland, but more so it was a new musical direction for the band. That's how I genuinely looked at it. But at the same time, if you're going to compare, nothing beats Weiland. Straight up. You can try all you want to replace him, nothing beats him. What he does on this particular track, I think it really gives us a taste of things to come for this album overall. He said in numerous interviews that this Blaster album, it's gonna be very heavy. It's gonna be heavy on the blues. It's gonna be heavy on the rock. It's gonna be gritty. It's gonna be in your face. And this first track, White Lightning, it definitely embodies that. I couldn't help but off the break be really taken away by the great guitar work, not to mention the bass work, the drum, everything in there. It's just very heavy. It's gritty. It's just nasty. I like it. Of course, if you're familiar with Scott Weiland and his vocals over the years, you know that he's nowhere near what he used to be on the Core album, on the Purple album. He's nowhere near that. He's not even close to a vocalist that he was on the what's the album? I actually have to pull it up here because I can't really remember it offhand. I want to say Songs from Tiny Music. I always mess the name of that album up. Bear with me here, folks. Let me pull that up real quick. Tiny Music, Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop. His vocals aren't even anywhere close to that, as pretty much from, I would say, Shangri-La going forward, his vocals have been kind of, what's the right word I'm looking for? Not as heavy, and as a result of that, he's been relying on an amplifier more to kind of drown out his voice, kind of distort it a little bit. He definitely was notorious for doing this, especially when he was with Velvet Revolver. So it's really kind of hard to pay attention to what's being said vocally on this track, as really his vocals are drowned out by the instrumentals. And hey, still sounds pretty freaking good. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this more so than what was going on with STP with Chester Bennington. Now, I should note that as you listen to this White Lightning song, just pay attention to the rhythm section. I mean, pretty much throughout the duration of this entire track, it's going to sound awfully familiar to another classic song, all right? And that classic song that is in question is Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood. Now, I'm telling you, when you compare, I'm really hoping that in the lyric sheet section that they do give some type of a acknowledgement to him, because it sounds like they did a little bit of sampling from him. If not, I'm telling you guys, it could be a lawsuit waiting to happen. Just kind of think about what had went down back in the day with Vanilla Ice, and I think it was the former members of Queen with David Bowie, or maybe it was David Bowie by himself, but Vanilla Ice ended up paying money out the ass as a result of sampling music from them. So hopefully this really isn't the case right here. Although when you do the comparisons, you're going to agree with me that it does sound very eerie familiar. But despite that, I'm looking forward to it. I think this track, it really sets the tone on what's to come for this album, as it seems like Scott Weiland has just been patiently quiet, and he's just been building up this nice big quiet storm of just in your face rock that he's just waiting to let loose on everybody. And I can't wait to review it. Of course, we'll talk about it right here in the very near future when that album drops. But for now, those of you that might be curious, you can actually go on SoundCloud, as we have the link available in this episode description, and you can check out the track yourself and come on back here. Give us your thoughts on if you liked it or if you disliked it. If you disliked it, I would for sure like to know why, as we'll definitely follow up on what y'all have to say on a future episode of the RCWR show. If not here, for sure on our radio edition, which you can catch Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. Hey, in the meantime, is it your first time checking us out? Love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. Make sure you share this. You can do so a number of ways: Facebook, Google Plus, retweet. Always one of the main ways you can spread the good word about our content. Until next go around, please give this a thumbs up. Giving it a thumbs up, you're basically showing love and support for the uploader. as we're bringing you nothing but good content. At least we try to, But that's going to do it. Until next go around, please be safe, be kind to one another. Take care.